Hey guys, here we go into the final key to victory for Guillermo Rigondeaux. And this one is setting traps. You know, we saw the dividends that paid in the fight with Dickens as we built up to this fight. There weren't a lot of traps that he was setting. It was actually basically only one trap. But this is going to be, because of the fact that this is his main source of offense against Dickens, you know, almost all of his punches, almost all of his landed punches stem from setting traps. This is exactly how I expect him to look to land punches against Vasyl Lomachenko. And if for some reason Lomachenko is able to spot these traps or take them away, I think that Rigondeaux is going to have a very hard time landing punches against Lomachenko. But this is going to be probably the most important part of him being able to score, to land, to have an opportunity to knock Lomachenko out, or even just keep him off, is the threat of having traps. It's not even necessarily important that the traps work, but it's going to be very important to stop Lomachenko from being able to swarm him and keep him all over him, even though this is the main source of his offense. So getting into the actual film study, we'll start with Lomachenko's, the traps that are working against him. So as you can see here, whoops, let's go back. So he's shooting his jab, right? Then he shoots his jab, and he notices that Lomachenko dips to his right, right? So he's like, okay, what can I do with that, right? So he feints a body shot, and Lomachenko reads it well and takes a step back. And here he flashes out of his guard, makes it look like he's going to shoot a jab, right? And gets Lomachenko to dip away from the jab, catches him with the right hook to the body. You know, setting traps, right? Picking up on his opponent's natural tendencies, and is able to land a great body shot right there. This one's a little less clear right here. Lomachenko has that tendency to slip the jab again, right? The same slip that he used in the previous scene, right? And Gary Russell Jr. is almost able to walk him into a straight left hand. You know, Lomachenko was a little too fast for it, right? But if Gary Russell Jr. wasn't, you know, he was a little bit better with his probing, right, and not committing to that jab, he might have been able to feint the jab or probe the jab and just walk him straight into that left hand. And that could be a trap that Rigondeaux might be able to set up against him, because in a lot of ways, there are a lot of times where Lomachenko is, I don't want to say predictable, because that makes him sound less crafty and less of a good fighter, right? But even if he makes this motion, you know, 1/4 of the time that you throw a jab at him, there are going to be times where you'll be able to walk him into that counter left hand out of that trap. And then right here, shooting the jab over his own jab, or shooting the left hand over his own jab. I didn't see very many opportunities or very many times where Gary Russell Jr. was setting this up. But again, it's only picking up on your opponent's patterns and tendencies and then allowing them to walk themselves into those shots. So here are a few opportunities, or a few times, where Gary Russell Jr. was actually able to walk Lomachenko into a shot. And as you can see here, Rigondeaux's baiting the lead hand from Dickens, right? So he touches gloves with him and then tries to get him to touch gloves again, right, and walk him into an uppercut. Here he is kind of refining that. He gets him to kind of jab with him, right? And then he tries to bait him into doing the same exact thing so he can throw a left hand over the top. And then again, this is a continuous clip, doing the same exact thing again, right? Trying to set a trap and pull his lead hand away from him so he can land the left hand. And again, you know, and this is almost all of Rigondeaux's offense during the course of the whole fight, these clips. And he finally gets it to work, right? So here he, whoops. So early in the second round, shoots his lead hand out there, right? And then tries to get Dickens to react to it. And now he gets Dickens to react to it on that same rhythm, and is able to catch him with that left hand, that huge left hand over the top that actually breaks Dickens' jaw. Great offense from Rigondeaux in that respect. And it is a trap that you can kind of sorry, got a text. It's a trap that you can see that he's looking to set up, that he does have the capacity to set traps. And even though they are simple traps, there are also simple traps from Gary Russell Jr., right? Setting up the right hook to the body or trying to walk him into the left hand, right? And that's something that this trap in particular, right, getting him to walk into that left hand is something that Guillermo Rigondeaux is very capable of doing. Anyway, I would do a video, you know. There are some other things that Rigondeaux can do, and I'll talk about this later. Yeah, I'll save that for the final video as well. But there are some other things that Gary Russell Jr. had a lot of success with, that I'll talk about, that are also opportunities for Rigondeaux, even though he doesn't show them in his fights against Southpaws. I'm not sure how much he shows them in fights against Orthodox fighters, but there are some opportunities for him to land offense, some I don't want to say deficiencies in Lomachenko's game, but things that work very well against him. Anyway, setting traps is going to be the most important part of him winning the fight. You know, even if he's able to control the distance in between the two fighters, he doesn't do a lot of probing, a lot of feinting. He doesn't set up his punches very well, but it's mostly important for him for a defensive aspect to control the distance. Then punching in combination, again, that's going to stop Lomachenko from being able to take positional advantages and countering him. And all that is kind of in a continuous game plan that goes with setting traps as well. So in other words, I kind of think that Rigondeaux is going to have to fight a perfect fight in order to keep all three of these keys to victory together and allow him to either outpoint or knock out Vasyl Lomachenko. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thanks, guys.